Hello everyone and welcome back to another review. Today I'm here with a review of the ThreeZero MDLX Transformers Autobot Bumblebee Vintage Animation Edition. I had to read that off the box because it's a bit of a long and weird name because it's a repaint and kind of an exclusive. This was released for the 40th anniversary of Transformers at TFCon. I managed to pick this up from Kapow Toys, so shout out to them. I'll leave a link in the description down below. I actually think they still have this in stock, and Optimus and Megatron. So I'm going to leave a link down below if they are in stock. Go and check them out. And yeah, I've had this for a while now because I've been a bit busy due to university and I am graduating in 2 months. So I've kind of been focusing on work and not content creation. But when I've finished, I'm going to be uploading a lot more videos. I'm going to try and do multiple videos a week, reviews and, topic videos and stuff. So make sure you subscribe to that. And I'm sorry I've been away for a while. I've missed a few crucial reviews and I do have a lot of figures to open, sort of like backlog. So I am kind of catching up when I get the chance. This is one figure that I definitely wanted to get a review out for because I wanted to get into the MDLX line for a long time now. And to find one at retail and for it to be a G1 repaint was the perfect time to do so. So without further ado, let's get into the figure. Just before we get into the figure, I just want to take a quick look at the box because the figure has been out of the box for a while now due to me not having time to review him. I did still want to mess around with it in my spare time, so I did take him out of the box and just put him on the shelf, mess around with him a bit. But yeah, I've still got the box here because these boxes for these repaints are absolutely fantastic. They're just really nice boxes and probably one of the nicer boxes that I've had for like action figures in general. I'm just gonna put it to the side so I can grab the box. But yeah, because we've got this G1 theme throughout. Really nice color scheme of the box. Bit of a render of the design with the repaint. Classic Transformers logo, the 40th anniversary logo there. On the side, I've got pictures of the figure with, again, the MDLX logo in that classic form and the classic Transformers logo again. And on the back, we've got more pictures of the figure. And I don't know if they're pictures or they're renders. I can't properly tell. Because like these two, they look like renders, but this looks like a picture. Or it's like a really highly edited picture of the actual figure posed. But still really, really nice box. So yeah, I am definitely going to be keeping these. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the figure. So before we take a look at the figure, I'm just going to take a quick look at the accessories just because it comes with not that many. So I just want to get through it quickly. So out of the box, we've got the two-fisted hands. And then we've got the unmasked head, which is really nice. We're going to take a closer look at that in a bit. Then we've got the battle mask, which looks okay. I'm not really a big fan of the G1 style battle mask anyway. Then we've got the two open hands. Both of these open hands here. And then we've got two trigger fingers to hold this blaster that it comes with, which is a bit of a basic blaster. Would have liked maybe a bit more of a paint job on there rather than just being molded in solid grey plastic, but not too bad. I would have liked it to come with more accessories, but then again, I can't really think of any other accessories that a G1 Bumblebee actually needs, and I think these accessories stay the same from the previous MDLX releases because I think this is just purely a repaint and there's nothing extra. Although I do think that the quality control on these ones are a bit better just because I think their production lines got a bit better. Apparently the original release for Bumblebee had a lot of joint issues, but I'm happy to say that this one doesn't. So yeah, moving on to the figure. So taking a closer look at B, as you can see, he's painted in this beautiful iconic G1 yellow color, which is very reminiscent to the show. And the paint job is absolutely fantastic. It looks like it's painted like a real car would be, which is very important for MDLX especially because ThreeZero tend to go with these more realistic looks. So it's very important to have that kind of aspect to it. And it really adds to the premium price point that you pay for these guys as well. So yeah, as you can see, it's very reflective. The ring light is actually reflecting off that. And yeah, the face sculpt looks great. Original MDLX one, so there's nothing new to read around about this, mainly just the colours. The sort of limbs look really good as well in this dark metal grey with some black finish on some of the, like for example, like the knees and just towards here, towards the ball joints and whatnot. it all looks fantastic and comes together really nicely. Like I said, the Autobot logo looks really good. That's really nicely painted on. And the windows are really standout. You've got some shading there on the windows as well to look like there's light reflecting off it, which they didn't have to add, but I'm really happy they did. Overall, the figure just looks great. They've really captured the car part as well, mainly the feet, really. And, you know, the tyre, the windows as well. I think they've captured those parts really well. And overall, the molding and whatnot is great as well, but that's nothing new. It's just sort of the repaint that we have to focus on. But overall, it does look fantastic, and it is non-transforming. That goes without saying, but you're sacrificing that for something that looks a lot more realistic and is a lot more posable. So that's something I actually don't mind as a one-off type of figure. So yeah, I think it looks fantastic. I think it's time to get into the articulation. So getting into the articulation, and this has been a pain so far. I've had to re-record this segment so many times, purely just because this figure it's actually really hard to pose, especially on camera. I don't know about off camera. Like off camera, I've been messing around with it and it's been like a lot easier. But on camera, it's actually really hard to pose. So I'm gonna start off with the head, and we're gonna take this one by one. So head goes up about that far, down about that far, side to side, tilt. The head has a movable neck joint as well, so that moves as sort of one to get you a very wide range of motion. Then coming down to the torso, we've got an ab crunch, very good ab crunch. Go back about that far, which is not amazing, but it'll do the job. Then is the waist swivel, which is the part which I keep struggling with, because for some reason this figure's waist, to turn it just hurts me. It's really like it's tight and it doesn't want to turn, and then these bits get in the way. There we go. Okay, it's turning. If you get it at like the right angle, it'll turn easily, but if you don't, it'll get stuck and it'll feel like it's gonna break, and then you have to like take a minute to recompose yourself. So going back and positioning everything back to normal. Going to the arms. The arms work. You have a shoulder pad here, and then you have a joint which will come up about that far once you move the shoulder pad up. Really nice range. Then the arms are kind of on a drop down feature as well with this ball joint, and then another hinge. So the hinge moves up and down, and then you've got the ball joint which also moves up and down, which gives you nice range of motion. But it's just weird. It's just weird to like move around and stuff. So now I don't like. So where do I go from here? It's like, and I have to try and fix it. There we go. So then I fix it, and there we go. We're okay then. It's really like frustrating to pose this figure in terms of without it feeling like it's gonna break. It's just really annoying. So then your arm will do a full 360. You got your biceps swivel. You've got, I want to say single joint, but it's kind of a double joint. It's kind of just hidden by this. And because obviously this sort of blocks it off, it doesn't look like it has much range, but it is a double joint. And then coming down to the legs, which also articulate weird. They have a really nice range of motion, but they just articulate very weirdly. Like, you have to move these little pieces out of the way first. And I don't know what these pieces are hanging onto, by the way, because these feel like they're about to snap off. This one won't even move out of the way anymore, which it was earlier, so I don't know what its problem is. There we go. They're just really weird. Like, you can get a really nice range of motion, but these feel like they're gonna snap, man. I don't know how much life these have in them, to be honest with you. And I feel like these MDLX figures, this comes back really far, by the way. I didn't realize how far the leg actually came back. I guess if you move these pieces out of the way, it's going to give you a lot of access in terms of moving the legs around, and then you get mad splits. Well, I don't know what you'll need to do this pose for, but the range of motion is there. And there we go. Back to normal. Everything is in one piece. Then we've got the thigh swivel, which is fine. You've got the double jointed knees, which is really good actually. And then you've got the feet. So the feet will move back, they'll move forward, and they've got a really nice range of motion for ankle pivot. And because they're so blocky, he's going to be stable no matter sort of what position you're putting him in. He's not very heavy as well. Like, he feels heavy for a figure of his size, but he's not overall heavy. Although his feet do have a slight bit of weight to them, which is going to keep him down basically in any pose. So, yeah, he poses well, don't get me wrong. He has a really nice amount of articulation. Articulating him, though, it's not as smooth as I'd like it to be. And maybe it's because my copy is really tight. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But this is like one of the most frustrating posing segments I've done on a video. And that's, I was going to say that's saying something, but then again, I do deal with mostly SH Figure Arts and Marvel Legends, which pose perfectly fine without many complications. So yeah, I think it takes a bit of getting used to. I don't want to knock it too much because I do really like it and I do think it has a really nice amount of posability. But the execution of articulation could have been a little bit better. So, here's B with some of his alternate accessories, his gun, his battle mask, and one of his open hands. I think they all look great. I'm not a massive fan of the battle mask. I've just never been a big fan of it. But the gun, I'm always going to have him with the gun because it's basically the only accessory he comes with. So, yeah, and I know a lot of people like to use his battle mask as well because a lot of you guys are probably fans of that. But it does look great. And the posing, it was very hard on camera. A lot of the joints feel like too stiff, and I don't know if that's just my copy. I like the perfect consistency of a joint that's not gonna be too loose, so it's gonna hold a pose, but it's not gonna be like too hard to move, like to the point where you feel like you're gonna break something. And this figure just doesn't have that. It has a lot of posability and it has a lot of articulation points, but the way it's executed in terms of its smoothness, it just isn't there. I do still really like the figure nonetheless. I'm going to get to my final points in a second. But yeah, here he is with some of his alternate accessories, and I think they look great. I'm just going to quickly compare him. I'm not even going to cut. I'm just going to bring Optimus in. I'm just going to compare him because I feel like this is the only figure that I can compare him to. I just need to move him back a little bit. And bring Optimus in. Optimus towers over him, by the way. This is the same line, by the way. I don't even know how I'm going to do this without zooming out too much. Yeah, Optimus actually towers over him. Which I guess is accurate, but still, it's still kind of crazy how big Optimus is compared to B, and they do look fantastic next to each other, I can't lie. I can't wait to review this Optimus. I do have a lot of problems with it, but it's still an amazing figure, so I am very excited to review this, and stay tuned for that. But yeah, without further ado, let's get to some final thoughts. Just wanted to do a really quick size comparison because I don't think I highlighted how small this guy actually is. Obviously, next to Optimus, you can't really tell how big Optimus is either because I haven't really told you and I don't really know myself. So yeah, basically, here's SH Figure Arts Gohan. He stands at around about exactly 6 inches, I think. Maybe just slightly under, but basically around 6 inch mark. And Bumblebee's a lot smaller compared to him. So I reckon he's standing at about 4 inch, maybe about 4.5. I think about 4.5. So yeah, he is really small. So he's one of those figures that I feel like that you could get around and like mess around with on your desk and stuff. But he's not going to really be a big standout piece in your Transformers collection. So that's one thing to know. So to sum up my final thoughts on this figure, I do think that it is a good figure. However, I feel slightly let down in some departments, particularly the way it handles. And when I'm posing it, it doesn't pose as smoothly as I'd like it to. And therefore, I have to knock off some points for that, because for a figure of this quality and this price point, and the articulation points are there, like you can't make the point that it's not supposed to be articulated, it's just there to look nice. The articulation points are there. It's just that the joints aren't as smooth as I'd like them to be. And it's not like it's just one or two of the joints, that's all of the joints. So I feel like it's intentional. I feel like maybe it's supposed to add to the durability factor of the figure, which I can respect, but as a collector and as specifically a photographer and a reviewer, I'd like to pose my figures. You know, I'm not going to just open them and put them on a shelf and never touch them again. So I have to knock some points off at that. ThreeZero has always been a company that goes for more like looks over sort of posability, but they have added the articulation point, so like I said, that point can't be made. But on the other side of the coin, this figure looks fantastic. Like, it's perfect. I actually can't find like a fault wrong with the actual look of the figure. From the yellow car look to the sculpting to the sort of color change of the limbs from the first copy, I just think it looks perfect overall. So I'm going to leave it with a solid score of a 7. I think 7's fair for how I feel about this figure. And I feel like if I reviewed this a lot earlier, the score would be a bit higher, because the excitement of getting a figure like this is quite large. And when that excitement has died down, you start to notice a few things. So I'm actually happy I reviewed this figure a little bit late. That doesn't mean I'm going to be reviewing all my figures later, because I want to get reviews as fast as possible out for you guys. Just due to the situation that I'm in at the moment, I can't get them as fast as I want to. And that's also why this review isn't as edited as I'd want it to be. I'd like to put a lot more effort into editing, but I just haven't had the time. So yeah, there will be a few more reviews like this, just to get some old figures out of the way, because I really want to review some. I don't want to leave them and just never talk about them. So yeah, there will be some more reviews coming that are sort of very bare bone. So look out for those. I've got an Optimus review coming out soon, and I'm going to pick up some more stuff. I've got a lot of backlog to open as well, so I'll probably be reviewing some of those. But yeah, full edited and like full effort videos will be back probably at the end of May, and that's when I'm going to be putting out a lot of content. So make sure to subscribe early, you know, get part of that gang. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I'm very close, and I'm going to do a Q&A when I hit 500 subscribers as well. So make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to leave a like and share with all your family and friends. If you do want this guy, I'm going to try and find a link and leave him down below. Also, don't forget to check out my other social medias, link in the description below. But besides from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.